So, beyond the love songs, romantic poems, passionate novels, and sappy movies, love is the result of complex processes in the body. So, in this video, I will be going to explain in short about the breakdown of love's biology and the ways humans experience romance with each other. Okay, so I will be explaining this step by step how a person falls in love. So, there are some organs or parts which are present in the humans that are very important, and the first one among them is hippocampus. Okay, so one is hippocampus, and then there is medial insula, then there is amygdala, then there is pituitary gland, and hypothalamus. So these are all the parts of the brain, okay, and these are very important for falling in love. And one more is there, that is called as anterior cingulate. So these are some of the parts of the brain which are important for the feeling of love, or we can say that where these are the locations where the brain loves. Okay, these are the few parts where the brain loves. So hippocampus, medial insula, this one hippocampus, then there is medial insula, then there is anterior cingulate. Okay, these three parts of the brain, they help to regulate the feelings of reward. Okay, so these three parts, they help to regulate the feelings of the reward. They are also responsible for development of love. So these are responsible for development of love. So this 1, 2 and 3, so these three parts are responsible for the development of love. Now there is pituitary gland. Okay, it regulates the hormones and secretes them into the body. So regulation of hormones or love hormones, regulation of hormones. Then there is amygdala, which is responsible or which moderates fear and stress. This moderates fear and stress. Okay, hypothalamus, and this is very important because it produces dopamine, okay, oxytocin and vasopressin, and these all are important for the process of falling in love: dopamine, oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, so now I will try to explain you step by step how a person falls in love. Okay, so the first thing is hypothalamus. So first step, that is hypothalamus, it releases dopamine into body and it causes the feeling of ecstasy and excitement. Okay, then what happens? And the second case, dopamine is released. As the levels of the dopamine increased, the increased levels of the dopamine will increase, serotonin levels will decrease. Dopamine increases and this causes decrease in levels of serotonin. Okay, serotonin is responsible for person's mood, appetite and other things. Okay, so this decreases. Then in the third step, what happens? Along with the dopamine, body also produces a substance which is called as NGF, which is called as the nerve growth factor. Okay, so this NGF, it is more prevalent in the people who are newly in the love. Okay, this is more prevalent in people who are newly in love, and people who are not in love or they are in a long-term relationships, they have the lower levels of NGF. Okay, so who are not in love, they have decreased levels of NGF, nerve growth factor. Okay, so the amount of the NGF in the body directly relates to intensity of the romantic feelings. More the NGF, more are the romantic feelings. Less the NGF, less are the romantic feelings. And the fourth one, or we can say the fourth step, that is oxytocin and vasopressin. oxytocin and vasopressin. Okay, these are responsible for feelings of connection and commitment. So the connection and commitment is because of the oxytocin and vasopressin. So I already told you about the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus produces these two hormones. Hypothalamus, okay, it produces these two hormones, and these hormones are then stored in the pituitary gland. Stored in pituitary gland, okay, and which then secretes these hormones into body. So pituitary gland secretes the hormones into the body, okay, and in the times of extreme passion, such as during orgasm, these hormones enter into the bloodstream. For example, during orgasm, these hormones enter bloodstream, okay, and the presence of the two chemicals, this is often attributed in part of success of long-term relationships. So if we say the long-term relationships, those are because of the presence of high levels of the oxytocin and vasopressin, okay, and these hormones they affect different parts of the brain because of these secretions. Nearness, certain responses occur. For example, activity increases in romantic core of the brain, okay, which will cause then amygdala deactivates. So amygdala deactivates, and this deactivation causes person's standard there for judging others, it gets blurry. Judging others gets blurry, okay, and the person in love, he feels less stress, less fear. The person who is in love, less stress, less fear, and this results in the overall feeling of unity between people in love. Unity in people who are in love. So this all is because of these two hormones, which we also call as we also call them as the love hormones, that is the oxytocin and the vaso. Or you can remember this, for example, there is these two terms, these are most commonly used. One is attraction and second one is attachment. Attraction and second one is attachment, okay. For attraction, there are three hormones which are very important. One is dopamine, then second is norepinephrine, and third one is serotonin. And for attachment, which is more important, for this, oxytocin and vasopressin. And one more term which is related to these attraction and attachment, that is lust. For lust, the hormones which are increased, which increase in our body at that time, they are testosterone in males and estrogen in females, okay. So this is about the science of falling in love, or what we say that what is the biology behind falling in love, okay, attraction, attachment and other things, okay. And the main hormones which are responsible here are oxytocin and vasopressin, because they are responsible for connection and commitment. So this was all about the science of falling in love, okay, when how a person falls in love.